Archers, attack! Keep firing! Let none escape! Another down! Do not relent!
Bibbidi bobbidi boo, Biden made your student debt go down by 10K or more. Slidewhistle.
Maybe.
Yeah, someday soon, hopefully. I mean, yeah. I am Immunization, and I just want to say that I feel it on my bones. Spooky season is quickly approaching, guys.
Well, you know what's spooky is... So Caitlin got me one of those controller guys, cable guys, the little statues that like hold an Xbox controller when you're not using it. And mine is...
I have one of those.
You do? Who is it?
I want you get to guess. Who do you think it is?
Crash Bandicoot.
Is that who you have? Do you have a Crash Bandicoot?
No, I have Master Chief, and he was holding my Xbox controller, but I went to go play my Xbone, but I didn't put it back, so now he's just sitting here lacking like, "Sir, what am I supposed to do? I'm holding nothing."
They're like, please. Yeah, for those that don't know, they just have their hands outstretched. Like, let me hold this thing. I sent you a picture in Nose Chat of what I have and what he's holding.
Okay, I'm waiting. Okay, you appear to have that's not Boba Fett.
Ooh.
Is it Boba Fett? Yes, it is. It is Boba
yes.
Fett. I'm a stupid child, and I deeply respect Jango Fett, but I didn't want to say it and make real Star Wars heads upset. But also, he is holding your weed pen.
Yes, so indeed he is.
Also, with all of this sadness, I forgot to say my name. Aaron, Fire Mage Extraordinaire and Horde Punching Bag.
We have an interesting news week. It's been, I would say, both nothing happening, but then simultaneously some huge pieces of information have been dropped.
And I feel like one of the biggest ones that happened, I think it was pretty quick after we finished recording last week, so a lot of you guys have probably already heard about this, like, on other podcasts or something, but we have, like, official confirmation that we are getting a, air quotes, time skip going into Dragonflight. And it's not, like, that big. I think, like, it actually shakes out to being, like, 3 years passing? But it's still a time skip. So still, your boys were right.
Well, I know it is 3 years because Wowhead put out an official diagram of the entire storyline, the entire what event took how many years.
It's actually pretty jarring to look at this list because then it, like, I don't know. Obviously, this is a game where we don't think about time in this kind of way a bunch, like how much time has passed.
There's not enough time.
Like, I've never thought how much time has passed since Wrath of the Lich King into Shadowlands. I mean, and that's only, what is that, like 6 years, 7 years?
Between Wrath and Shadowlands, that's 12 years.
See,
I'm sorry.
Who thinks about years?
Minus 3, 9 years, which I guess makes sense. You know what I say, like, oh, this is scary, but a lot of things do kind of shake down to just being a year. Other than the Cataclysm, which I wasn't there, but I don't remember a lot happening, but apparently that took us 2 entire years to do.
Yeah, so like what? So like aliens invaded, and then aliens invaded again. No, then we invaded the aliens, and then Lich King happened. That was all like 2 to 3 years. Like, Azeroth has absolutely got to be exhausted. She's never going to wake up. She's not getting any good rest. We're not allowing her any time to sleep.
Yeah, it's really crazy that, like, they're saying that, like, Classic through, like, the end of, like, Shadowlands all happens back to back with, like, very little time skip. That's kind of crazy.
I'm just glad that, like, now they're like, okay, we're going to just have a little bit of a break in between so we can allow our younger characters to age up. Because Steve Danuser literally made a blue post that was, like, 3 to 4 paragraphs long. Just based about what's changing and stuff.
He basically said that, like, not a whole lot of interesting things are happening, and it's kind of just an Azeroth is, like, a state of world peace where there is not a huge threat of any kind. And they have said that, like, some joyous occasion is happening, which everyone is inferring means the wedding of, like, the first Arcanist Thelrissera and Lorthamar, but I don't know. Is that even... I don't personally feel like that's like that big of a deal.
You know what it is it's Dagran Thracian III finally is shedding the cocoon of his tiny body, and he's going to come out full grown, 7 feet tall. He'll be the biggest dwarf you've ever seen.
Yeah, I'll just read this quick little blurb. He was like, Shadowlands begins in the year 35, after the opening of the Dark Portal, and Dragonflight will begin in the year 40. Given that the events of Shadowlands took place over the course of 2 years, that leaves a few additional years that we are fast-forwarding through. Our purpose here is to not have a litany of events take place outside the game that you have to read about in a book or other media to understand. The goal of the fast forward is to provide the people of Azeroth with a slice of normal life without a major threat looming over their heads. When our heroes return from the realms of death, you can imagine them easing back into their lives and duties without an immediate crisis to address or enemy to fight, so they can fuck, basically.
They've had, their balls have been full of spunk, and they're going to deposit it in the time between now and Dragonflight.
And unfortunately, the Alliance and Horde are going to honor the truce signed after the Fourth War. Boo.
So they're like kind of implying here that like in addition to this marriage that might be happening, this 3 year is basically there's going to be a lot of like two-year-old kids running around Azeroth. It's like Azeroth's baby boom or something.
I also love how all that was built up for him to be like, that said, we do plan to offer a digital short story on our website that details the wedding that Evan was talking about. But he was like, it's going to be fun and charming.
There will be no additional material that you'll need to read. But if you're looking for additional material that you need to read, please turn your eyes to our website.
It's pretty good. But I also like how he says, as for changes to the world that have been discussed or foreshadowed, such as the resettlement of Gilneas, those will not be happening during the fast forward. They're basically saving them. He wants us to experience them in the real world if they ever do happen, which now that has to happen, right?
The fact that like he's even mentioning it in a blue post, it's definitely at least on their mind. I think it's going to happen. And I mean, yeah, because the whole Dark Ranger quest line that we did, that was the one where like Gen sent us out and they talked about how they're all going to work together to clear the blight and recapture this land for the Worgen. So I feel like it's going to happen. Well, maybe not less so the Worgen, but more so the Gilneans, but you know what I mean.
This is my big question is when we talked to Kalia, she was like, thank you, you've helped me so much. I know who you are, wink. Just tell Gen I will be recalling my forces from the land. Which makes me think, if this is going to be an active engagement, will it be like we're fighting Scourge that rebel? Will it be like her guys after sitting there and pooping around for 15 years are like, actually, we don't want to move? Like, am I just going to be, which I would love to do, am I just going to be killing Forsaken guys who got too comfy in my dad's house?
I guess it's also possible, since they're really kind of laying out time frames and stuff, maybe the Infinite Dragonflight will be more of a threat to Azeroth itself in general, as opposed to just the Dragon Isles. Like, maybe they're like, okay, no one's looking, let's attack random spots. I don't know why they're gonna attack Gilneas, but they're like, the timeline says they must live in squalor. We can't let them prosper.
You know, it's really funny, like, Danuser's like, hey guys, look at this fleshed out timeline with exact years and events. What a shame it would be if something happened.
If there was a specific force that I happen to write that goes around and goofs with time.
I also feel like at the end of all of this, of his blue post, Steve's like, for your player characters, it's always been left to your own interpretation how much time had passed when they log in after the arrival of a major update or new expansion. Really? Are people out here like, no, Cataclysm was actually 6 years.
I mean,
it wasn't 2 years.
Yeah, like, and this is not even in like a goofball making fun of them. People do whole things where it's like, my Druid Rangalore Saberclaw spent 10 years fighting the dragons. And this is Steve's way of being like, hell yeah, guy on Twitter, you do your thing. I don't mean to yuck your yum.
Steve's like, please, if we can't have one group of people attacking us, it can't be the RPers on Twitter. we're defending too many fronts to withstand that one.
They're too numerous. They can worm their way in too easily because they're RPing as worms.
They can also clone themselves at will and change the color of their eyes. You never know what they're going to do next. Okay, so who else do we think they're going to age up? Because he also was saying how younger characters will be older, and then, like, the adults, you won't see that big of a change. Like, no one's going to have, like, gray hair, I don't think, right? But, like, who's a young character other than Dagran Thracian III, our Lord and Savior, who could be aged up?
Well, I mean, like, if you think about young characters, you probably think about, like, Anduin, who is what, like 20, probably, like just around 20.
Well, I was saying,
Talia is probably
I
young
can tell
too.
you exactly how old he is he was 18 to biologically he is 22 years old, although we will be returning to an Azeroth that was 25 years.
Wow, okay, so this is like literally Manduin. Like, he will be fully fledged Manduin.
Although I don't know if his birthdays count in the other world, so he isekai'd himself. He's biologically 22 years old now.
But, like, how does being dominated affect, like, your biological clock? Does that, like, add a few years? Like, will he, like, start growing gray hair like Jaina and Cadyar because of this? Or, I just don't know.
I mean, if there's anything, I know that the time and body is a funny thing. Sometimes you wake up when you're 28 years old and you're balding.
We're going to have to start referring to, like, instead of, like, BCE and, wait, before Common Era and, was
AD.
it ever AD? Yeah, I was thinking ACE. I guess it'd be, like, before Dark Portal, so it'd be BDP. ADP.
B double penetration before double penetration, after double penetration. Because I can tell you, that certainly changes a man.
I believe it.
But thinking of youngsters, I don't know, because no one's been having kids recently, and a lot of the young people were with us in the Shadowlands. Like, I would say Talia Fordrigan would be a good one to have aged, but she was with us the whole time. So she's still biologically, like, 19 years old.
Yeah, so then just add, like, the 3 years of the time skip or whatever. I mean, it's not really that big of a jump. And then, like, Slide, you went in the alpha to go check on Moira's son, right?
I did, and he
Aaron
is
did
still,
that, yeah.
he is, as of, and then who knows, maybe Steve snuck it in another patch. But as far as I know, he is still a child.
I think they're going to incorporate the new starting zone people.
Oh, they got new hosts?
No, like the mom and her son for the Alliance, and then the Horde version have a orc, and they have a kid too.
Well, they 100% are being incorporated in the storyline. I don't know if you saw that, but, like, they are leading the expedition.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that, like,
Commander Garrick is coming back?
yeah, they are teaming up to lead the expedition to find the Dragon Isles. So, like, we'll be with them.
That's like 3 years, like the perfect amount of time to age them from like their mom's teen to like a fresh 19-year-old ready to fight in a war. They're gonna kill them off, aren't they?
Yep. Which is awful for the Alliance, because they're like they are the only dark pigmentation human characters who have names. So if they kill them, I am getting upset.
They're also like one of our newest human characters to be added that aren't like thousands of years old.
Also, former sexiest NPC of the week, right?
Well, not the children's, just the mom.
Yeah.
Well, I do believe we talked about, perhaps in the past we assumed that our healer friend was at least 18, because we did say that we would go back and forth between the two.
We've said a lot of things on this podcast, though.
Yeah, that was it. That was hashtag a different time.
When are we getting this digital short story? I want to read about Lothar Mahar's sex.
He was so unwilling to give it out last we checked on him in another digital short story. I'm interested to see what happened in the 3 years. Also, a little offended that when he met us on the Judgment platform, he didn't like show me his ring. I thought we were pals, even though I was throwing fireballs at him in BFA.
I'll just always remember that, like, short story of, like, them being like, yeah, we're gonna exchange some slam poetry now, and it was just like 3 pages of them like rap battling back and forth.
Okay, so I've been perusing Wildhead comments this whole time. What Pravin says, what younger characters does he mean? We have not much left. Anduin is already adult and looking at the loading screen. Raytheon looks the same as in BFA. So who is left? And they've listed 3 people. Lily Stormstout,
Ooh, that's
Moira's
true.
child, Thrall's child. Anyone I missed?
Also, who's thinking about Lily Stormstout at all? Like, I don't think these Pandaren are going to be coming, like, into the story.
This house is a Pandaren-friendly house, but I can say...
I mean, obviously I am too. I'm a Pandaren main, but, like,
Yeah,
I'm just keeping it real here, you know?
Hots really did Lily a favor by including her. That's the last time anyone thought of her.
Where the fuck has Chen been? And what has he been doing?
Now I'm just thinking of, doesn't Thrall have 2 fucking kids?
Dude, I don't know how many kids he has.
No, yeah, because he definitely, I'm trying to think, because at the end of Cataclysm, the Alexstrasza, like, punched Agra and was like, I felt a baby in your tummy, hee hee hee, but I forgot if that was Duran or if it was another one.
There is indeed a second one. There are 2.
I don't want Duran to be interesting. I guess, hold on, let me go back and see, because we have an official timeline, how fucking old this kid is.
So there are 2 kids. So there's Durak, and then there's Rahiz. And Agra was pregnant with her second child during the trial of Garrosh Hellscream after the siege of Orgrimmar. Rhys had apparently been born by the time of the war in Draenor. So give us some numbers on that one too, on this younger child.
So, born during WoD, is that what you just said?
Yeah.
So the older kid's like 11 and the younger kid is 8.
At the beginning of Dragonflight.
At the beginning of Dragonflight.
Yeah, because the name of the second child was just revealed in Shadows Rising. Ooh, Madeline Rowe didn't consult Chris Menson or ask permission from Blizzard before naming the character, and instead just went for it.
Ooh.
She said that she dislikes fan service in the form of characters naming their children after other characters, so she opted for a simple orcish name.
Ooh,
Damn,
and
she named it and called out Chris Metzen.
You know Thrall would be he names fucking everything in his life after just like his dad or his mom or something. You know that was a big blow to my man Chrissy Metz. Although I will say, and this is heretical to say, looks left and right, Chrissy Metz should have no input anymore. He left.
Yeah, that's how it should be. Also, fun fact, Rahiz's great-great-grandfather, which would be Thrall's great-grandfather, is named Rakish. Rakish.
And the Draenei are long-lived. We could have killed... Oh no, it's going to be big drama. Thrall's going to read up about his family and be like, you killed my great-grandfather. I'm coming out of my hut now.
And then the only part of like trivia under Durak, the older Thrall child, speculation. It is unknown who took care of Durak while his parents were on Draenor. It may have been Ryle, his grandmother. Yeah, who was watching this child when Thrall and Agra were busy? We need to call CPS is basically what this thing is saying.
I like how even the WoW writers don't know or care who Thrall's wife, mother, grandmother, son, any of them are, or their names.
Yo, I'm drinking this pumpkin pie beer, and it tastes like pumpkin pie the more sips I take of it.
Okay. So we're back with a recurring segment here. What are we drinking today, boys?
I'm not happy with what I have. I called it white on white violence, and most people would just call it a vodka soda. It's a Sprite with Popov vodka. But it's not doing anything for me. Maybe I need to get another one, but it's just rough and grating, similar to white on white violence.
I mean,
it's
a sriracha. Did you say add sriracha?
Yeah.
I mean,
You can do
maybe
that.
we have it. We did buy some sriracha before the Great Sriracha Depression.
Yeah, we're stocked up on our sriracha, which probably contributed to the furthering of the sriracha depression, but whatever. I can't live without sriracha. I just want to consume so much of it, and then I get like cold sores in my mouth from it, and then I have to stop for a bit. But
We have other hot sauces, and then I use them, and I was like, I feel like I'm lower class. I'm lower class than sriracha, despite the fact sriracha is widely available. I'm like, it feels like it's a step above. I feel cool when I use it.
But yeah, as Slide said, I'm also drinking. So we went to the store earlier, and what were we trying to get exactly? I forget. But then we got distracted by these. Oh yeah, we were trying to, because Walgreens was sold out of Slide's favorites, the micheladas, and so we went next door to the liquor store, and I was enthralled by this. So it's called Southern Tier Brewing Company, and then the name of the beer is called Pumpkin. I'm like the King of Ghosts?
You can't see him. You need Swords of Revealing Light to see him.
I know, and that's why I was so surprised to see it on the shelf, so I had to grab it. Anyways, yeah, it's an IPA, it's pumpkin ale, and it says pumpkin pie in a glass, and it's pretty good. I normally don't like IPAs because they're kind of gross, and this is not that bad.
Yeah, like I said, it's like pumpkin pie in a glass. Speaking of pumpkin pie in a glass, I'm gonna pull a time warp.
Okay, things that go in glasses. 1, pumpkin pie.
Is that your final guess?
Yeah.
I'm using this time to get my timer. I almost forgot. It's almost like it's 2020 again.
Lol.
Alright, so they have 40 seconds to name as many correct answers to the question of the category I'm going to give them. Are you ready?
Always.
Yeah.
I think we've done this before, but who knows? I need you guys to give me the names of races that aren't playable by us. So like secondary races, sub races, I guess, if you may. The lesser races.
Oh,
I
dear.
actually don't think we've done this.
We have
On your
not.
mark, get set, and name them.
Centaur,
Naga,
Murloc,
Huskar, Sethrak,
Quillbore,
Knowles,
Jinsei, Hosen, and Cohen.
what are they called? What are those called? The Broken Draenei.
The Broken Drani, Aarakocra, Arakoa,
Dragons.
pretty Arakoa. I don't know if they're different people. Shit. Pandaren. I mean, who can really control them?
Time. I think you guys tied it. I think you guys both had 6 at the end. So, okay, so we're going to do a lightning round. Name one that wasn't said. Ready, set, go.
Ethereal.
Bing, 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 bing.
That was good.
That was strong. You guys both came out with a lot of. You guys were nailing it as we started.
I thought I could pull this one off. I've been really losing everyone here. So
You were in the lead for a while, but Aaron started to pull forward slowly but surely.
okay, let me go get a shot glass. I'll be right back.
Well, let me go get a drink. So, Slidewhistle, be there with your thoughts.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Wild Seeds Seedin' Party. I didn't interview anyone today. Did a lot of WoW. I did like 7 or 8 keys already. It's Wednesday. I ran Junkyard a bunch. Ooh, I have my own quest for a weapon that I'll probably talk about later if I remember.
Did you say fruit leather?
Okay, everyone, that ends this episode of Wild Seeds Seedin' Party before anyone else gets on the show. Okay. Hey, I'm back. What's up?
I thought I heard you say the phrase fruit leather, and I was very frightened because the other day Cubby Bub referred to a fruit by the foot as fruit leather, and I was like, who harmed you?
No, what a criminal.
I was like, what off-brand fruit snacks have you been eating that you feel like you need to make the Band-Aid bandage distinction here?
You know, I've actually seen that before. Like, it is a little jarring though, calling it leather. I don't know, but I am back with a shot of lemon flavored vodka again. So here we go. Cheers.
Light it up.
Yee.
Shake it up.
Check it up.
I didn't get a chaser. No.
Oh no.
Oh my god, these are some brutal. This is a drink your pumpkin.
Use the
Yeah, let
swords
me
of
just chase
revealing
that
light.
shot with an IPA.
Use the flame swordsman.
I can pull you out of this dire situation with kunai with chain.
Put it on your lizard battleman.
But stop right there, Yuki. I'm gonna activate my time wizard.
Oh no! You're aging the dragons to death. Isn't that fucked up? That you basically kill baby dragon with old age.
I heard your mama was so fat they tried to put her on cannon turtle and she just fell right off the cannon.
She didn't even launch it.
Okay, I'm just gonna be real. 3 dinar cap is a joke.
What is a cap?
3 dinar cap, this is a very brief return to Heroes Callboard.
What are you saying? Say it again.
Wait, hold up a second. I need to go find my horn.
Yeah, hurry. I mean, keep sneezing.
You almost got me. I almost started.
Let him read it.
Fucking Klumos. Klumos, the level 60 Blood Elf. It's been a little while. We got a lot of them saved up in the tank. Klumos, the level 60 Blood Elf Hunter, said 3 dinar cap is a joke. Anyone else think the 3 dinar cap is a joke? Some of us that play multiple specs are getting hosed, especially going between SV and MM. It's a giant pain. Usp with the polearm, bow, trinkets, cloak that never drop in raid literally ever. So I will say, as people who play multiple classes, multiple different roles here, do you think 3 is too little?
I kind of do agree. I personally, on like a funny haha, here's an extra season at the end of the expansion. We're bringing back all the greatest hits of these raids, throwing, like mega dungeon roulette out there. It's just like a funny season. I don't really see why they need to have a cap on it, because there is a soft cap of how many fated bosses you can kill in a week. So you can only get 10 out of whatever in a week anyways. I think they could just add like a 4th, even if it's like 15 or 20 bosses again, to get like a 4th one onward. I don't know. I kind of get where he's coming from.
Yeah, I can kind of see the reasoning too a little bit, but then at the same time, they can't have all of the loot from raid instantly available. Otherwise, people just wouldn't raid after a certain point. And it's weird to be like, keep them on the treadmill. Because some people do have really, really bad luck. I think maybe some bad luck protection on items dropping would be a little better.
But I feel like it's effectively the opposite of like instant loot. Like it and this is like, the dinars are like the fail safe, where it's like you grind for X amount of weeks and then you can pick whatever gear you want. But even then, it's only at like a normal level, and you also need to kill at a higher level to upgrade it past that. So when I first heard about the system, I also did think it was weird that they were capped. I don't know.
I think you convinced me that I disagree that this is a problem then, because you're right, this is the failsafe, and you get loot from raid. I think 3 is enough. I mean, and my top items that I need is feral. I guess I only need 3 items, so that'll be my 3 dinars, so I'm lucky in that aspect. But I'm gonna get the items eventually from raid if I were to keep raiding. So maybe at most they add a 4th dinar, and then you do like 30, 20, 15, 5, maybe. But I don't think you really need any more than that either.
Yeah, because most of the things that you can get from raid can be traded too, because a lot of people are spending their dinars to get like a first sigil, and that can drop for anyone, and then later it can be traded around the raid group as well. But I'm thinking more so about myself, where it's like, it's kind of annoying that like the Sylvanas bow just doesn't drop,
Well, that's a separate issue.
But you can use a dinar, I think, on an upgrade piece, I think.
Yeah, and I think you can upgrade any item. So you can even get like an LFR. Wait, no. The bow doesn't drop on LFR, so never mind on that one.
Yeah, and they said that they buffed the drop rate, but I haven't seen it.
Well, have you been running it on normal? Have you been running it on non-faded weeks?
Can you upgrade non-faded ones?
Yes. If you have a bow at all, if you have any version of the Sylvanas bow, you can buy that heroic item piece and upgrade any bow that you have, even if it didn't come from faded.
Okay, I didn't know that. So no, I haven't been doing that.
I think that only applies to the bow. I'm pretty sure. Actually, I don't know. I haven't tried using it on my other items.
I'm pretty sure the upgrade thing normally does specify that it needs to be used on a faded thing.
But I think, because I don't think there's not a faded version of the bow, is there? Isn't the bow just drop the same exact version?
Yeah, so that's why I said that, like, you can buy an upgrade piece with a Diener, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's also why you can just run it on normal every single day of the week, or every day of the week, every single week to get it, even if it's not on the paid rotation. Wait, Aaron, what were you gonna say earlier?
I was going to say, now I'm a fool. I know very little of this. Obviously, the magic things we're getting can upgrade it to heroic level. Will those same things be able to upgrade it further, or do you have to do mythic level to upgrade your things to mythic level?
Yeah, so those essences or whatever they are, so many fucking currencies, why Blizzard, why? Those ones we get dropped from heroic, and then there are separate ones that drop from mythic, so you would need 20 mythic kills or whatever to upgrade a piece to mythic.
I
then,
see.
Or whatever
So
it is.
when I upgrade my Diener pieces in a little bit here, that's as high as they'll be going, because I don't see a lot of mythic play going down.
Yeah, none of us do, so I feel like that's another reason why, like, personally, I feel like the Diener pieces, I'm actually kind of convincing myself that 3 might be enough, actually, now that I think about it, because a lot of the pieces that I would use the Diener on are things like trinkets that are, even at a heroic level, are less than what you would get from a Mythic Plus or from your vault, but like their effects are just so awesome that it doesn't matter for their eye level. Like First Vigil, like it'd be like less than your technical maximum piece, but just better. So like I don't know. Like I just feel like I feel like you would only need 3.
We're actually pretty close to a almost perfect loot system. Like there's still some problems, but you can get a lot of loot a lot of different ways. Like you have the Great Vault every week. The dinars that are building up constantly. Other people getting dinars also means more loot for you, which I didn't think about until you just said that earlier, because you're right. People are getting sigils, and then they'll trade the ones they get from raid. So yeah, I think this is all around great. And then I'm not even doing PvP this season, but that's probably giving good shit too, right?
I am on the team still, and Bestie of the Pod Vanderlyle is also on the team, and I believe he's gotten his tier pieces upgraded through PvP, like through his vault. So like that's a full another way that people are able to get here.
I'm curious, do we know if the Great Vault is coming with us into Dragonflight? Is there going to be a Dragon Vault?
We do not know.
I'm pretty certain they said that it will be returning in some fashion just because it's been so popular. That, or it was a fever dream just because I personally love it so much. I don't know.
I feel like it has established itself as a Warcraft staple, so they will not be absconding with it just yet.
Okay, so I found an article from April, so yeah, I guess we should know the answer, but mission tables removed. So that was why we forgot, because that was the big news. But no more mission tables were free, and Great Vault to continue in WoW Dragonflight. So that was a series of interviews that they had. Imagining what kind of Great Vault they can skin, like dragon-wise. We're gonna be like in like a treasure trove, like hoarded room, right?
It's 110% going to be a dragon, sexfully sitting on a big pile of gold, just like twirling its little claw, being like, what can I find in my vacuous vault for you? And then you go to like Gold Coinius, and he's like, oh my god, I'm so impressed by your efforts. Here's an array of things.
Yeah, and then he's like, let me dig through this giant pile of gold, and I found you a new pair of gloves.
He's just wiggling his big butt as he's looking through the gold. Oh my, it seems I have a knife and a helmet for you. And then it's like late season, so it's like, none of these are good for me. It's like, take what you get, you spoiled, rotten little brat.
Mr. Vault Dragon gives us stuff. You keep giving me the same pair of fucking shoes the past 5 weeks. What's going on, my man? What's going on?
Well, no one's taking them, you see.
I have a surplus of shoes. If you want them to be gone, perhaps you should take 1 or 2 off my hands. Or should I say, my claws?
That's been happening to my fucking Warlock. I've gotten literally 4 pairs of cloth feet that have only decreased in eye level as I do less and less content on him. And I'm like, can I stop getting the feet? Can I like disable like one piece of gear to be in my vault? That'd be so cool.
I keep getting shoes that I think might be the final piece of Mog I need to complete my set, but I keep also getting better gear, so every week I'm like, please be here next week, please. And now that I've spoken it into words, it won't be, and I'll never get whatever the Zeri Morty version of like fit and fine is.
I got Great Vault fucked this week. I got a 304 ring that does like a shadow blast out of it, which is cool. I have the 298 version of it, and it's good for all the content I was doing. And then I do a couple of junkyards, and I get a seal of Pananapalis, which is like a haste verse ring, and it had a socket in it. And the seal of Pananapanapali is better than my max level shadow ring. So therefore, my vault has been invalidated.
Where does Panapanapali live?
I was gonna say, like, dude, when did you get a seal of pen pineapple apple pen?
I got it last night. You were there. You saw it drop. The seal of pineapple.
The seal is just someone's iPhone playing it, and then just Tapeworm goes from character to character being like, isn't this hilarious? It's so irreverent. And then everyone's like, ooh, looks like you didn't make it out of the time skip, friend.
What does pineapple even mean? It means a complete or impressive collection of things. And here's the sentence they used. A deliciously inventive panoply of insults. what fancy lad is writing over here?
Well, it sounds like it's my man Vault Dragon. They already have him coming in writing some item descriptions.
A deliciously inventive panoply of insults.
Oh, my blood sugar is rising just looking at this collection of insults you've gathered. I'm quite the collector.
I guess historically it's also meant a complete set of arms or suit of armor. That's an interesting extrapolation for Panapalipoli. Anyway, so that's happening and I'm mad about it. I mean, I'm happy because I was getting tired of having an active on-use ring. That was getting exhausting, having to press a button every 30 seconds on top of all the other buttons I have to press. But now, I'm trying to get that junkyard polearm that zaps nature damage for each crit you do. I'm all crit. All I do is crit. I want the staff, which means I'm never going to fucking get it. I probably run already 12 junkyards so far, and I know I'm going to end up in that I've run 115 junkyards, and I haven't seen it yet.
It was funny because, in passing in voice, Slide was like, and I'm out here getting ahoyed with this spear.
Because poor Ahoy was hunting for was it a bow or was it a gun? And was it, 200 runs of, Gambit, and he never got it?
Streets, but yeah, it might not have been 200, but it was definitely, several weeks in a row of trying to farm it.
You have to just forget it exists, and I've already made the first mistake of talking about it on a podcast, so now I'm never going to forget.
You two have spoken it into truth and ruined yourself.
And what was really unfortunate, because I was on my hunter on this run, and I could have specced into survival and gotten it, because it's, a polearm, and it's agi. And, I've been casually trying to build up a survival set. I'm not saying I'm going to, switch to survival, but I kind of want to fuck around with it a little bit every once in a while.
Ooh, Immune is being driven to sin by the meta.
No, it's not that at all. And that's why I would never in a million years ever do marksman, because fuck marksman, and I want a pet or two or all of them. And this is literally survival's one and only time to shine, so I'm okay, that's fine. Literally the most flavor of the month you could be. So I'm fine with it. It's their time to shine. Maybe I can join in on the fun a little bit too. But no, I'll never go marks again. So.
Oh, I guess they changed the mage tree in alpha, and I was just reading this extremely long paragraph to find something to talk about. Can't. It's a lot of information. But Aaron, it looks like they're making changes that the fire mages have complained about. So you should be in good hands.
Wow, what have I been upset about? What did they change?
Tell you. Here we go. Here's the quick quote. We feel the pathing in the fire tree has not allowed for enough exploration due to nodes that feel required. We're looking to reduce the number of mandatory points by moving a few spells baseline. So here you go. These spells are joining your baseline kit, such as Hot Streak and Fire Blast Rank 2.
Okay. So I'm already going to say, yeah, Hot Streak, it's what I said 6 episodes ago. It's ago. It is the entire Fire Mage mechanic. It was weird that they put it as an optional talent.
I'm worried. Because if like something like that happens, what if like it's happening to other specs that aren't complaining as loudly, like Feral? Like, do I need to get on here and make sure that like I'm complaining loud enough to get these changes fixed?
Well, I mean, like, Holy Priest, they're taking away FlashCon. I mean, like, I'm not really complaining anywhere other than here on this podcast. Maybe I should be, but, like, I don't know.
Do you want it? Send them feedback. They listen to the podcast. You should write them a letter. Do something. Fight for your powers.
I will say Flash Concentration is its own spell. It'd be the equivalent of, like, if they got rid of shields. Or, for Feral, if they got rid of bleeds. So I do understand why they got yelled at by fire mages.
No, but like FlashCon, it's not a spell. It's like the legendary, and it's what has like made Holy Priest relevant and able to like single target heal at all. And it's like why we're like spot healing through dungeons properly. It's like what actually made us feel good in Shadowlands when, like, if you guys remember in BFA, like whenever I tried to do a dungeon as Holy Priest, they're like, oh, why'd you even bother signing up for this dungeon?
Where's the discs preset? Also, Arcane Mages, man, it's gotta feel bad. They have like 18 changes here. Like,
I think they just got tired of Arcane Mage and they were just like, fuck them. And then like someone caught on and it was like, okay, well, we can't just say fuck them, so change all the things back.
You gotta right some of these wrongs. The stinky little Arcane Mages are crying again. Poor Arcane Mages.
Fuck them.
This pumpkin beer is making me hiccup. Let's talk about Karazhan's new nerfs. What we got, like its 7th and 8th round of nerfs this past like week while we were recording.
What was it that was making it so tough? Why did they go in? Was it just they didn't adjust enough stuff from its vanilla iteration? Why was this random half section so tough?
This isn't even based on the vanilla ones. These are based on the mega dungeons from Legion?
Yeah, yes. I'm sorry. When I meant vanilla, I meant the original iteration. Karazhan's dumb. It has like 8 versions. Yes. So, but I remember running it in Legion, and the lower half was not like a ball buster. Why is it now so in Shadowlands?
So, I think a lot of it is because when we ran it originally, it wasn't like made for Mythic Plus. It was just like a mega dungeon that you did all of it, right? So I don't think it was really made to be run in this way. And
well, they cut it up into. Well, I guess it was the first mega dungeon cut up into M Plus. That's what you mean, right? Because it was in M Plus.
Well, was it actually M Plus? Oh, yeah, I guess it was. Wait, was it M Plus in Legion?
Yeah, pretty sure. They cut it in half at the end, just like they did with all the other mega dungeons that have happened since then. But that was the first one to be cut in half like that.
So I don't 100% know why it feels so much worse now. Like, everyone knew, though, that now it was going to be really, really hard, especially on Fortified, because Lower in particular has, like, a bunch of ads that just, like, chunk. And that's what they basically had to do. Like, they've had to, like, change, remove, edit spells of all these ads. And on the most recent one, they were just like, yeah, we're just taking out half of the ushers altogether, which is kind of crazy. They're just like removing ads now, removing spells. On the last boss, well, I guess you could do it in whatever order. On Atman the Huntsman, the one on the horse, they're just removing the whole mechanic where the healer has to dispel the like shadowy guy that I think we complained about that on this podcast because it's like hard to see. So I'm glad that they removed it.
Like, Aaron does have a good question though. Like, what is different from Legion to now? Like,
we've seen everything. I mean, other than there's a Nathrezim guy occasionally, there's nothing different from the M Plus that was happening in Legion. But Lower Kara is like almost comically over-tuned to the point that people are just like, I'm just not doing it. I'm going to try and get KSM without even stepping in there.
I guess the difference would be the legendaries that we use and the tier bonuses would be different from the tier sets. I guess just the scaling. I guess Karazhan must have just not been as aggressively as scaled, maybe.
Yeah, no, definitely the legendaries, because we could have 2 legendaries then as well, but they were different. Obviously, one wasn't covenant based. They're just completely different, and tier sets were completely different. And yeah, I believe a lot of it is just the scaling. Like these, like there's just something off about the way things hit. I think because like these dungeons, the Karazhan ones, but just in general, season 4. Like healers have to heal again. It's kind of crazy. Because like all of Shadowlands so far has been like healers' responsibility almost was to contribute as much damage as possible to like time hierarchies, and it's like now it's like focus on actually healing again, just because these dungeons do so much fucking damage.
I feel like that's on purpose. I feel like they made things hit more, and they made this affix different so that way healers would have to heal, because it's probably extremely jarring for people who are new to healing to get into healing a dungeon, and then people will be like, why are you healing? Where's your damage output? And they're like, damage output? I'm a healer. I'm not a DPS. So I have a feeling that's probably on purpose, thinking about it now.
No, and I'm not complaining at all. Like I like that. Like I mean I did the meta because it was the meta of what I needed to do, but like I've always had a mindset of like healing more over DPS when I'm a healer. I mean, I just always thought it was like in Shadowlands kind of weird that it had such a focus on it.
Yeah, it was interesting. So like, there's just big numbers coming out too, but these characters are huge. So the developer's note said, "We wanted to give players time to relearn mechanics in returning dungeons before making large nerfs. However, Lower Karazhan continues to stand out as an outlier in difficulty, so we're making larger changes to bring it in line with the other dungeons in Season 4. So the ushers are being dismissed all over the place. So many abilities have been removed. Phantom Guardsmen no longer cast Shield Smash. The chefs don't cast Cleave. The bakers don't cast Rolling Pin. Dots reduced by 50%. Moreau's Garrote damage, his bleed, reduced by 15%. Westfall Story in the Opera Hall had 20%, 30%, 30% reductions to like Tony and Merglia on certain abilities. Maiden of Virtue Shield was reduced by 15%. And the floor damage reduced by 20%. These are just humongous nerfs.
And like what's funny is like in like the prior nerfs, her shield was already reduced by I think half even. So like they're just like gutting Lower Kara as they should.
Yeah, I mean it's at the end of the season. Like let us run a little wild. And wait, do you have the numbers on completed dungeons? Do we have that pulled up right now? Because this shit is crazy.
Yeah, I have it up. So this is why I believe it's being nerfed so much. Like I have this I pulled up right now on Wowhead. They posted like a Mythic Keys run so far in Season 4, and just to show you a breakdown of like what people are running. And okay, so like at any level, like so there are 8 dungeons right now. Lower Kara at any level only composes of 5% of the dungeons completed. So like for reference, like all the other ones are at like 12 to 15%. And ideally what if like you took 100 divided by 8, it would be like 12. They should be at 12.5%.
So they all should be at 12, but you have Junkyard at 16%. You have Streets and Gambit both at 15%, 16%, because people would much rather just run those all day, every day, instead of running. I
would love to do a Gambit if you actually know what you're doing. Is like easy. You can turn your head off. Yeah, I don't want to do all of Lower Kara. That actually requires me to think a little bit.
But what's even crazier, that like the percentage that I said was at any level. So if you're targeting Keystone Master, you're probably trying to do a 15, right? So 15 plus Lower Kara, they only make 2.9% of the dungeons run.
Yeesh.
Like it's like that's horrible. And you know what I really hate is Wildhead. Wait, who wrote those articles? Is this Squishy? Tell me it was Squishy. No, it's Anchelin. All right.
Anchelin Anaconda. She ruined the beginning of the Digimon movie for me, and now she's coming back years later.
So right underneath the graph, they wrote, "It's important to note that this data is extremely biased and doesn't represent the balance of the difficulty of the dungeons, but rather the community perception and optics of the new season."
Hold up. Do they put this disclaimer at the end of every fucking damage meter they put? Because, like, that's exactly what that is, too.
They sure fucking don't, and they're the reasons contributing to that shit.
Also, what does that mean? It's like, you know what? This only represents 2%. And then down there in the cited page, it's like my friend Carl. My friend Carl was like, this feels like it's only 2% of it.
Yeah, so I guess they're saying, well, the dungeon's not really bad. People are just saying it's bad and don't want to run it. So don't worry. Our boy Tom R. Us, a premium user of Wowhead, called out Anchelin and said, this is simply not true. It does show how bad balance and tuning is in reality. Community perception has nothing to do with it. Data clearly shows that Grimroll Depot, Iron Docks, Upper and Lower Kara, Mechagon Workshop require massive across-the-board nerfs to bring them in line with the better-tuned dungeons. He's saying how, like, the math, basically, when they got nerfed, shows the percentage of the increase. If you look at the weeks, and I'm like, all right, Tom R. Us, like, slam Anchelin for this.
So I guess, like, to bring us full circle, I feel like the main thing between Legion and now is that there's just something fucked up with, like, the scaling of eye level and, like, where we are now, that it's not tuned correctly overall.
And also, I think the list of affixes, the affixes have severely changed from Legion to now. Like, there's, like, how many dead affixes are there? There's, like, 4 or 5 that we haven't used since Legion. I couldn't even name one right now. That's crazy.
Besides the, like, seasonal ones, I can't either. But, like, I will say I really, like, seriously got into Mythic Plus starting in Shadowlands, honestly.
Yeah, I would say I can't name any old ones because I never saw them.
Teaming used to be one where there would just be more mobs. So, like, and Skittish, were the one where they wouldn't take threat. You guys remember Skittish?
I do remember that. That must have sucked as a tank. They would just run around like crazy.
I think those are the only 2 retired ones, actually, and the rest of them were just the seasonal ones. Oh, Beguiling. I miss Beguiling.
Was it just like the enemies would flirt with you, and then there's a chance you guys would go on a date?
And it usually fell through, though.
Oh. Well, I mean, at least you had a fun time with them. That you can remember the great night you had, even if it didn't pan out.
And they beguiled me, the J Beguiles band.
Oh my god, this affix is centerfold?
they just say freeze frame, and then you just couldn't move for the rest of the dungeon. It's like, sorry guys, I got J Beguiled band.
Couldn't stop it. Oh my god. Okay, last week was Legion Time Walking. I feel like every time it rolls around, we only end up running one of those dungeons out of 15, and it's always fucking Black Recold.
I don't know if it's because it's the one that has trinkets people want. Maybe it is, but like, yeah, like I only have time. Every time it rolls around, I always just end up running like 1 or 2 of them, and it's always Black Recold.
But I'm always super happy about it because it reminds me that I need to make a weak aura for this season's affix in Shadowlands, because we have the Dreadlords, and they have that fucking sleep circle that puts me to sleep. And in Black Recold, the last boss, when does his sleep, he goes, "Sleep now."
Oh yeah, our man D'Antonio.
Yeah, Coach D'Antonio is up there telling us to sleep.
Sleep now.
So think about how that's recorded. It's just so crunchy, but so good. Sleep now. Did you run any time walking last week, Aaron?
Yeah, I ran time walking, but not anything like big. I just ran normal time walkings, which really has put me in the mindset of being an old man. Like, Legion dungeons were the ones I knew the best, to the point that tanks wouldn't know what to do, and I was just like, oh, hold on, let me just tank this for you. Like, I'm trying to get 5 of these in today, you don't understand, so we'll just go forward. And so I know, I can tell, I will be a real bastard as the years go by.
Just give me your password and email, and I'll fucking run the tank for you.
Yeah, exactly. Let me log out real quick. I'll do this for you guys so we can save some time. I'll just set my character to /follow.
And now it's time for our sexiest NPC of the week.
This week, baby, we are naming... Oh, this is one sexy hunk of metal over here. And I'm talking about the HK8 Aerial Oppression Unit.
I know where that unit's going.
I want to give it my unit, making an HK9.
So, like, okay, for the uninitiated, this is the giant sentry robot that is flying over Mechagon Island, and it is the last boss of the current M+ dungeon Mechagon Junkyard. It is a giant flying robot, and for most of the fight, you don't even face it. You have to, like, fight off this smaller robot and then fly, and then, like, go up through this, like, maze to, like, zap it down from the sky.
He's a big tease, you could say.
Yeah, I know. He makes you work for it. He's like, I'm just gonna, like, scope you guys out from up here, and, like, maybe if you're good enough, my friends will tell me that I can, you know, swoop down and say hi.
I mean, it's a little controversial to say, so I'm going to put my hands out here. Gives me a real 50 Shades of Grey Christian Grey vibe. You know, when you first enter and you get up in the air, he sends you a message just like, I'm watching you, little girl. If you step out of bounds and stay up here for too long, you'll get punished. And then he takes off his belt and he cracks it in his hand. And I just go, oh, shit.
But, like, what's also kind of funny is, like, when you do knock him down and you're finally able to engage with coitus with him on the ground there, you know, like, all up in the dirt. So, like, if you're into, like gritty nature dirt mud pit sex, so, like, if you're a hoardy, like, you'll probably be into this. He doesn't last very long, though.
You know, and that's admirable. I love a man who can admit, listen, I don't have the endurance that you want, but I'm going to tease you all the way there.
It's all talk for me. If you get me down on the ground, I will splurt immediately.
I also have a pretty good argument for why this may actually be one of our sexiest characters to date.
What? Why?
Now think about this. There aren't a lot. There's only a handful of bosses that you can say have a hard mode, right? Because there's like hard mode Mechagon, hard mode the ICC one.
Tazavesh.
There's not a lot of hard modes out there. But this is one of the rarest bosses that actually begins the hard mode. Because they fly over the bosses, and if you kill the bosses with the HK8 flying over, you've entered hard mode. Only one robot can get all those bosses fully erect and ready to go. And that's the HK8 aerial oppressive unit.
I also need to point out that its little scope that I assume it's either a cannon or it's how it observes people. That's a booty hole.
I was gonna say a red rocket, but yeah, either way, I can see an argument for either of those things.
It is a vague sexual orifice, and we will accept either or.
It's definitely in a very interesting spot, in like the middle of where its forehead would be. But hey, I'm not gonna judge this one. I'll press that unit.
You look, it's just a ding-a-ling. It's got a cannon, it's got two balls to the side, it's got a nice smooth gooter area.
No, it's not even smooth, dude. Look at the pylons. It's like three little hairs on each of the balls.
I mean, Blizzard knew what they were doing. Ian's like, we're gonna give him a real hot one, a real sexy one.
All right, HK8 aerial oppressive unit. You are sexiest NPC of the week. Now we go to our top two bottom boot medium moot of the week. I've got myself a medium moot.
Medium
moot. My medium moot is the hunt for my polearm, the electro stacky shocky stick. I don't know what's actually called at all.
That is its legal name. It's amazing you pulled that out of nowhere.
So as hard as this hunt is going to be, I think it won't be that difficult. Because Pablo, who's also a Feral Druid, he already has the weapon. So if he ever gets set on our junkyard runs, he can trade it to me. Ahoy can get it if he's in bear form. You can get it if you're in your hunter form, even though you're going to keep it, but you give me the second one. And this means 100%, 1000%. You will, if we ever run together in a junkyard, you're going to have this fucking item drop for you because God's trying to test me and my patience.
And you know what? Like, I think I kind of alluded to it earlier, but I didn't outright say it. in the one that we ran together, I talked about it as we went into the dungeon. I was like, should I switch my loot spec? I don't think I need anything as BM here. Woo, grip it, rip it. Whoop. Yeah, and like I was like, well, I could go to survival and I might be able to get that pole arm, and I decided not to. I was like, I forgot to, like, and then we started the key, and then when we got to the end, I actually got the fucking gun from it, and I feel like that means that, like, if I would have spec survival, I would have gotten the pole arm.
It's a curse. So if you have a junkyard out there and you need a DPS to run it, hey, let me know. Maybe I'll hop on. What about you? Wait, who won? Aaron, what about you? TTBBMM.
Oh boy, yeah, I never go second. So you know what? I got a bottom boot.
Boot.
And it's a pretty insignificant bottom boot, but it's one that came to me right here while we were recording. I looked up above me and I saw I have a lovely piece of art, which is like an old cartography map version of the current World of Warcraft map. Sort of like what one sees when they press M. But okay. I just realized that it's the current one. So in a few short months here, it's going to be outdated. And I'm going to be stressing. Do Caitlin and I have to make a little aged version of the Dragon Isles that we glue up there? Do I just hide it in shame when people come to my house and they're like, wow, great 2022 era map, dingus?
Hey, listen. All you have to do is incite the first rule of the WoW Constitution. Steve Danuser 11 said, you can roleplay any time period you want to. You don't have to listen to our time constraints of the world of Azeroth. You're free to do what you want to do, freak. Just say that one.
Sorry, in my Gilnean RP group, we only recognize the sovereignty up until 8/24/22. The Dragonflight Isles, despite being announced, just never showed up.
You know what? I honestly feel like you don't really need to worry about it because, like, how many people do you know that have like old ass globes or something in their house? Like,
I thought you were about to be like, how many people do you even expect to be in your house? I was like, painful, but a valid counterpoint.
Also, wait a minute. Yeah, Aaron, no, you're fine. I'm looking up right now at our map of Azeroth after the Fourth War. We ain't got no Dragon Isles up here, so our map's also dated.
I guess ours does clarify in bold print in the bottom corner after the Fourth War, but yeah.
If enough of us are just wrong and we're loud enough, people won't feel entitled enough to be like, your map is wrong.
Blizzard will have to send out updated maps to everybody who requests one.
But that's me. Immune, what is your TTBBMM?
So I also have a medium moot, I think.
Medium.
Meaty.
And it's that I feel like for some reason this season so far has been a little... I don't know if it's less alt-friendly or if I'm just less, like, caring about grinding out what I need to on several of my characters. And, you know, last season I had both my Hunter and my Priest. And I wouldn't consider either of them alts. They're both mains, honestly. And it's been hard for me to keep both characters up to par so far. And we're, like, raiding a little less. We've been busy with things, like, you know, our best friend got married, so, like, we had to, you know, go to that, but...
Motherfucker who fucking gets married on a raiding weekend?
Yeah, so I'm just, like, behind on, like, my Dinar quest for my Priest right now, which is weird because, like, technically my Priest should be, like, my main if I had to choose one, but, like, it's whatever. It's a medium moot, not a bottom boot, because Slidewhistle and I were talking earlier today, and we realized that, like, I was 27 out of 30 for, like, my first Dinar leaving last week, but I realized it doesn't really matter, because nobody can get their second Dinar this week, because it's 15, I think, for the second one, which would put you having to have part of next week as well. So it really doesn't matter. Everyone's going to get 2 Dinars next week, because I was so close to getting one this week.
Yeah, because you have a lot of wiggle room. Because I think you're -3 dindins, like 3 dindins in the hole, and I think I have 3 out of 15 dindins right now, so I'm 3 above. So like I couldn't even finish it. Like I can get really close to.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, oh, whatever. I mean, I don't have the item now, but that's fine. I'll get it soon. I'm gonna get the Anduin ring probably.
Ooh, yeah, because I don't want to have to buy Zolvastrum, the Unbreaker, or the Unmaker, But I know that's going to be the only way to make that fucking lightning polearm appear. Is if I spend a Dean, and then I get the weapon, and then it's like, oh, you spent one of your tokens? Here you go. Here's your fucking lightning staff.
You have to trick yourself in order to have the game try and trick you.
It's a game of who outplays who, and I always lose.
It's a game of dragons. I'm excited. Fucking Game of Thrones can't do no wrong. We're all back, baby.
Did you watch it? No, wait, you don't watch Game
of
Thrones, do you?
because I never watched. I waited long enough to have Game of Thrones be bad. I'm willing to wait long enough for Game of Dragons to be bad.
I think everyone knows this is gonna be bad. I think everyone just hate watching it at this point, and I don't want to hate watch it because I'm mad. I'm so mad. I'm still mad.
I honestly didn't even know that there was additional Game of X content, and I don't really feel compelled to watch it because Game of Thrones ended so poorly.
Oh wait, I didn't watch Better Call Saul until last week when I heard it was ending.
That's true.
And I like it a lot.
Yeah, that's true. I started watching that and I was like, this is pretty neat. Why did I not like this in 2014?
I walked around the house and I was like, Alex, what have I been doing? Tuco's on the show. And he's like, who? And I'm like, the crazy guy from season 1. He doesn't know. Anyway, let's read this. Read their patrons.
Wow. Now let's give it up to the Breaking Bad to our Better Call Saul. And by that I mean they owe us everything. We're talking about Command Sergeant Major Chizurla, fourth host of the podcast Jamonkey. Ahoy Vince, a.k.a. Nathanos, killed himself to see Sylvanas and she won't even pick up the phone. Instinct/Drag Race. Azarin. Mitch, who wants the pod to know that the hunters of Uno Mas are burly boys.
Hell yeah.
Crucifix. Cardicay. Saracen Hawk. Joe DiGiorno Dorno. Gershom, the Grill Master. Tss. Hoax, asking Growlina to say, for the Horde. Vanderlyle, and Will, a.k.a. Tyre, Trade Chat's fallen father.
Thanks, patrons. Love y'all.
Thanks. You help us keep going.
If you want to join this lovely list of patrons and be friends of Cup Dan, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/do not relent. Yes, got it.
You gotta pay if you want me to be your friend. That's how it works. I'm mad toxic. Licks finger and puts it on butts.
He's wearing those. He has juicy sweatpants. It's got juicy on the ass in his cup.
Yeah, he's got his Phenom sweatpants on. Oh, I don't work for free. $5 a month, or just 3, or just 1. I won't judge.
Listen, y'all, they're not sweatpants. They're boxers, obviously, and there's only 7 left because Cup Dan got like the 8th one left. So.
And if you guys have any comments, questions, complaints, you want to write to Cup Dan, send us an email at donotRelentPod@gmail.com. What about you guys? Where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me, Alex or Immunization, on Twitter at NewEraAlex. You can follow our podcast Instagram account on the gram at Do Not Relent. You can join our really fun Discord by going to DoNotRelent.com.
Ooh, you see me standing here. Do I look good, my dear? Yes, I do. I'll answer that for you. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/AaronDNR. That's not the one I usually do first. You can also follow me on Twitter at TheBigAcheesy and follow the show's literary musings at DoNotRelent.livejournal.com. I wrote one today about big, goofy shoulders.
Oh, we gotta read that one. If my login fucking works to the website, it keeps trying to dick me over.
Me and Vlad, we're just trying to get your credit card information.
Okay, we'll see you guys next week. And remember...
Another down! Do not relent!
Do Not Relent is a podcast within the 3HNC network, representing U.S. Proudmoore's premier podcasts.
That was a very good wish.